Welcome. This is the Contreras Report, Mexico edition for August 2nd, 2021. I'm Raul Lowry Contreras. Let's get started. On August 1st, Sunday, the Republic of Mexico went through a plebiscite experience or exercise that was put on the ballot by the President of Mexico, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. The question was, essentially, shall previous presidents of Mexico be investigated for any corruption they might have done while they were in office, or money that they stole or committed any crimes whatsoever? And if so, should they be investigated and charged with those crimes if they're discovered? Well, this is the third or fourth such plebiscite ordered by President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, AMLO, since he took office December 1, 2018. Actually, he had one before that was not done by the government, but by a private firm at his behest and that his political party paid for. That was a question of whether a new brewery should open in Mexicali, Baja California, to employ 1,000 people. Well, AMLO didn't like the beer company, didn't like beer at all, and ordered this plebiscite to seek counsel from the public, that if the public doesn't want the brewery, then it should not be open. Well, he held the plebiscite privately. It wasn't a government issue or a government exercise, and the majority, his people, his party people, showed up to vote against the brewery. So he shut it down, costing the Mexicali Valley of over 1 million people 1,000 brand new jobs, making beer for the United States, for export to the United States. Beer is the #1 food/drink export of Mexico. And this was going to add to that. But no, AMLO didn't want it, so he didn't get it. Then he held a referendum to approve his Maya train, a 1,500-kilometer train system through the Yucatan Peninsula, the 5 provinces or states of that area that are the poorest states in Mexico. And there, again, he got a majority. This time it was run by the government, the election, the plebiscite. Now then he demanded that the people vote on whether or not to investigate previous presidents, which he has claimed, and claims all the time, have been corrupt and are still corrupt. He claims them to be responsible for the war on drugs and the war on cartels that have cost Mexico hundreds of thousands of lives, and many American lives through overdoses of heroin and cocaine spiked with various killer drugs brought in from China or manufactured in Mexico. Okay, so comes August 1st. $26 million was spent by the government to set up this election. It wasn't as extensive as the June 6th election, obviously, which was nationwide also, but a real election. And the government agency, the Electoral Commission, organized it, and with about 1/3 the number of polling places around the country. Now, to be an effective vote, 40% of the turnout had to be, they had to have a 40% turnout. In other words, for it to be a yes or no situation, dictating whether or not to start investigations. So what actually happened? Well, most of the political opposition parties boycotted. Most Mexicans boycotted. Most Mexicans didn't give a damn. And they thought, what do we need this for? The Mexican law was changed in 2019, so that previous office holders in the Mexican government can be investigated and charged with crimes. There's no statute of limitations. That was a brand new law, so what do we need this plebiscite for? That's what the Mexican people asked. And they showed that yesterday, Election Day, August 1st, Sunday. A range of between 7.07 and 7.94 was the turnout, not 40%. more than 30% less, more than three-quarters less than what they needed for the plebiscite to have an effect on policy and law. Yes was between 89, now these are preliminary figures, they're not final because the election was yesterday and these results were posted last night by the Electoral Commission. 89.36, 96.28 is the range of the yes vote. 1.39 to 1.58 was the no vote. And people that filed blank ballots ranged between 2.19% to 9.21%. We'll have definite figures in the next 48 hours or so. But 40% participation was required for the plebiscite to have any effect, and it got less than 8%. Less than 8%. President AMLO, President Lopez Obrador, the Mexican people just dumped all over your government and your leadership and your presidency. Let us hope, those of us who live in Mexico and those who are citizens, they're not always the same, and Americans, let us all hope that AMLO was spanked badly enough that he actually took notice and will quit screwing around. He canceled the airport that was half finished, being built outside Mexico City, that had already cost billions of dollars, not pesos. He canceled it because he didn't like the contractors. He then gave contracts to the Mexican army to build a new airport on an Air Force base, on an army base. The army has never built an airport, even its own airports, airfields. They've always been done by private contractors on government contract. So they're building an airport at Army base outside Mexico City, and then taking another airport and refurbishing it and bringing it up to speed. The combined two airports will not handle the traffic that the new airport that was being built outside Mexico City that AMLO canceled. Think about that for a minute. And because of contracts, cancellation of contract fees and penalties, billions of dollars more will be spent or are being spent right now to pay off those contracts. Because the Mexican contractors aren't stupid. They protect themselves in the contract negotiations. Cancellation fees are required in the US and in Mexico, and the president of Mexico, who's a lawyer, doesn't give a damn. He wants what he wants, and the Mexican people be damned. The Mexico City Airport, the new one, would have been the classiest airport in the Western Hemisphere. Better than New York, better than Chicago, better than LAX, better than Atlanta. It would have made those airports look silly. Like the Istanbul airport makes the American cities, American airports, and the Mexican airports look silly. I know, I've been there right after it opened. So, Mr. President of Mexico, AMLO, you have been slapped, you have been spanked hard by the Mexican people who refuse to acknowledge your philosophy of government of let the people vote on everything. This is not a democracy, a pure democracy in Mexico or America. It is not, and it should not be. It should not be. We both have representative democracies, republics, if you will, and that's what the Congress of Mexico is for. It's not to be bypassed by a president who thinks he can get the masses on his side and have his way with Mexico. Not this time. August 1st, 2021. The day the AMLO presidency essentially came to a screeching halt. He has 3 more years in office, but I doubt seriously if the Mexican people are going to take him seriously from now on. For those of you who haven't subscribed yet, please do, because if when we post one, you will be notified. You literally will get a flash on your screen that a new Contreras report has been posted. And if you want to write a letter or a comment, the email address will appear on your screen in a few seconds, and you can send me a comment or question, and I'll respond. And if you subscribe on YouTube or Facebook, you will add to our audience, our regular audience. And that we thank you for. We thank you all for being there, and we'll see you next time. Thank you again.